Stitching, 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 stitching,
But
stitching,
what's going on
stitching,
there?
da da
Seems
da
like they're
da.
outside the chapel.
What is that from?
I don't think it's
Da
from
da.
anything.
Oh, it is! Fish heads, Ranny Polly fish heads, fish heads, eat them up, yum!
I've got the ladder. Here we go.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sweet fish heads.
All I think of is that chef from Little Mermaid.
Le poisson, hee hee hee, ho.
Quadrillion.
This is you.
This is the only place you'll find that number written on this island.
So they actually do find the gold. Well, we knew Ava found it, but... Questions. I have many questions. Okay. 1/10 of 10 quadrillion. How suspicious. If our idea is right, there should be some sort of device embedded in that relief.
We just need to check. Who's going up? Hogo, hold that ladder down, okay? Rudolph's always the one going up the ladders.
And Kraus always looks like so suspicious. I don't know why they trust him so much.
They don't.
Oh, be careful. It is fairly high up.
Rudolph climbed up the propped-up ladder, step by step, as the rain poured down on him.
Look at the queue. See anything? Some sort of device?
The ladder's a bit shaky. Oh boy.
It just says Rudolph. What is it? Did something happen?
Bingo. Take a look at this. Rudolph tossed the cue down. It hit Kraus on the shoulder and landed in a puddle.
That would hurt so much.
This is the key.
What does it mean? Rudolph-kun, don't tell me you can take out the other letters too.
Yeah, it
Why
looks
is he
like
tossing it down? Doesn't he need... One of them a key, right?
several of them are.
Yeah, and don't you need it to twist and turn? Like, why
Yeah.
is he throwing them down? They need to carry it back up.
Guess our crazy theories weren't far off after all. What's the next letter to take out?
I. And then L.
Following her instructions, Rudolph removed the 6 letters of the first twilight. Now that they'd gotten this far, nothing stood in the way of them solving the riddle. By trial and error, they finally reached the final stage. It says to gouge starting from the head, which must mean going from left to right.
Rudolph-san. Starting from the left, turn the keys before taking them out.
Got it.
Blood?
Got it. Now we've massacred all the letters. We reached the 9th twilight and none are left alive. So, did something happen? It felt like something clicked, but nothing changed. Did
How
a
have they
hidden
not
door
noticed
open
it's
up
right
somewhere?
behind them?
Hey, look at that. It moved, I'm sure it did.
Everyone look! The lion statue's facing the other way. What is going on? Is there some secret inside that lion statue?
That's not it. It's probably telling us to look where the line's pointing. See? That way. That line's facing a different way too. What does it mean?
It's guiding us, stupid! We have to go in the direction the lion's face.
Ava dashed forward, the others all chased after her. The gold was right in front of them.
Now this is a surprise. Who would have thought that a hidden stairway like this existed?
It makes sense now. Father didn't like people going near the chapel.
I wonder how long that device has been there. Judging by the feel of this underground passage, probably for quite a long time.
I imagine it was built at nearly the same time as the mansion itself. The riddle of the epitaph was probably also planned many decades ago.
Well, this is Dad we're talking about. I try not to let the things he does surprise me, but this...
Just how far does this stairway go?
Hey, maybe that old rumor was true. You know, the story about him having a mistress in a hidden mansion somewhere in the forest.
I see. It's likely that this underground passage goes all the way there.
I wonder if it connects to the mansion from that day.
I think we've found the goal. Look at that filthy door.
Excuse me?
Something's written on it.
Phew. Bingo.
Something was written on the door in red paint. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, ye shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time.
Does it open? It does. Ready? I'm going to open it.
So, you finally reached the gold.
We can only hope that such a sweet deal's really true.
Let's open it, Near-san.
Right, I'm opening it.
The heavy door opened slowly. Then the gold-filled underground VIP room showed itself.
I feel like that's the tune that should be playing right now. Ah, there we go.
They only had an instant to admire its splendid furnishings. As soon as the mountain of gold next to the canopy bed came into sight, they all froze, stunned. After a second, the stunned silence faded and was replaced by cries of astonishment and wild joy.
I have an
Incredible.
intruder on my desk. Give me a moment.
I can't believe it. It's 20 billion yen in gold. It really does exist.
What a shining mountain! It almost blinds the eyes.
We did it! We did it! We win this game.
You mustn't touch it without permission! Oh, come on, Natsuhi. This is Father's gold! Oh, really? Then why don't you call Father down here now? Right away. The time for your farce is over and done with.
Not saying there, son. Let's put an end to the obvious lies, shall we? We have a real mountain of gold right here. Shouldn't we all be honest with each other?
Fortunately, we're all in a good mood and feeling very gracious now. Just give it up already.
A pile of gold this massive carries magical power within it. That power draws out the most honest feelings within people. The light from the chandelier glinted off the golden mountain, lighting them up with its golden sparkle. It was as though the sparkle controlled everyone present. For some time, they forgot their age and howled and laughed, running about and rolling around like a bunch of excited kindergartners at a park.
What is all of this? What's it supposed to mean? Before the crimes, the epitaph has been solved, and by all of the siblings together. That hasn't happened in any of the games before now. Supposedly, Beatrice decided not to commit the crime if the epitaph was solved. Yeah, supposedly. We'll see about that.
Angie snorted. But you believed.
Angie snorted, but I believed. This is what Claire decided. Because she entrusted everything to the roulette of fate, she'll obey the result. She let the roulette decide her own fate specifically because they couldn't decide on their own. So she'll do what it says. She'll follow her own rule. She'll definitely keep her promise. I don't think the crime will occur. Are you sure about that? Yes, her roulette has already made its decision. This is the end of her game. If it's the end, what happens next? Do they all become happy rich people and leave the family conference unharmed? Does my family get an ingot that isn't chocolate as a parting gift before coming back to me? Will it be a happy end for everyone? You think those witches would chain us to chairs to show us a naive dream like that? When she showed off the chain on her wrist with a clink, I was unable to counter her with confidence. But I want to believe. Though this might be the least exciting ending, Claire's game has now reached an end. Perhaps, just this once at the end, she wanted to show us a world where no crime occurs. Now that she has disappeared with no regrets, is she leaving us a parting gift in the form of a game where no crime takes place? In a sense, the most peaceful sort of game? I want to believe. If only these heavy, cold chains weren't holding us in place in this theater.
Is someone there? Rosa's shrill cry brought the celebrating to an immediate stop. Rosa knew she'd seen it. The curtains against the wall had fluttered, and a shadow had been there behind it.
Come on, don't do that. You're just imagining things.
Is someone there? If you are, come out.
When Ava yelled, the curtain shook. And then, a witch wearing a black dress appeared from the other side. In an instant, everyone realized that the dress was the same as the one worn by the witch of the portrait, and they realized one more thing. This person was the owner of this room.
Welcome to the Room of the Gold.
Her face and her voice were expressionless, blank. The others all looked at each other, wondering who should respond. Rudolph was the first to speak.
So, you are Beatrice?
Indeed.
And you're the one who gave Maria the letter.
Indeed.
Is father behind this?
No. This is my game. If that's so, then we've won. We've solved the epitaph riddle and found the gold.
We've accepted your challenge and won. That means this gold belongs to us, right?
Indeed, it is as you say. You have solved the epitaph splendidly and discovered the hidden gold. This game ends in your victory. The gold no longer belongs to me, but to all of you.
It seems you're a graceful loser.
Hey, you! If we hadn't solved the epitaph's riddle, what were you planning to do?
The letter said that you take everything of the Ushiomiya family.
Yes. I plan to take all of your wealth, and all of your lives. I plan to do as I please with everything that exists on this island.
The witch walked towards the table next to the bed. Then for the first time the others realized what sat on that table. They were 4 rifles. There was also a case filled with bullets. The witch picked up one of the lead bullets lying on the table and played with it, her face still expressionless as she spoke.
If this night's ended before you manage to solve the epitaph's riddle, I plan to follow the epitaph and commit 13 murders.
What did you say?
That's what I thought when I first saw that epitaph. It almost looks like something you'd find in a serial murder mystery novel. That's right. If you had killed 13 people to match the epitaph, that would have made for quite a mysterious crime. There's no way you could do that all by yourself. No matter how many guns you had, killing 13 people, that would just be... I formed my plan with great care and constructed several alternatives. I envisioned all of the actions you might take from tonight and through tomorrow, and prepared a mystery to deal with each of those. I'm afraid I cannot reveal those at this point, but it really was a tightly knit set of pleasant color's dream murders.
If there were just a few of us, you probably could have gunned us down in our sleep. But there's no way you could have killed 13 of us. We aren't that stupid.
It would seem so. At any rate, I predicted that the epitaph being solved before the first twilight was the most unlikely result.
It would seem that us reaching this place was a miscalculation on your part.
No. Even this was one of the results of the roulette I wished to create. This is probably the best outcome for all of you. No one will die, and you can leave this island with the gold. Congratulations. This game ends with a perfect victory for you all.
If no one could solve the riddle, she planned to take a gun and commit a serial murder. Everyone gulped as they watched the witch emotionlessly make her confession.
If this confession of yours is the truth, that means you were trying to kill us. Yes, that is true.
The hell? How can you just say it like that? You couldn't possibly expect us to treat you favorably after revealing that much to us, right?
I am prepared. You may do as you will with me. If you hadn't solved the epitaph, I would have done the same to you. So it is only fair.
This girl's got guts.
I planned this game because I was prepared to bet my life. I am satisfied with the result. If you wish to kill me now, I am prepared.
By now, she didn't even treasure her life. As the witch spoke and talked near the others, they automatically stepped back.
The gold belongs to all of you. I planned to give everything to the one who discovered it first, but I didn't expect there to be 7 of you. I leave the decision of how to split the gold to you. I will not involve myself. And...
The witch walked even closer. The group parted, and she walked up to the antique clock behind them. The clock was large and had a dignified feel to it. The witch patted it and spoke.
Allow me to explain the device within this clock. For you have gained not just the gold, but the entirety of this island.
What do you mean by that?
If you read it like a murder case up until the 8th twilight, then only 13 people are killed. But by the ninth twilight, it clearly says that none are to be left alive.
What does that mean? That she was planning to massacre all of us?
Don't tell me that clock, as you have guessed, is linked to a set of explosives. Are you the one who set that up? Or was that Ushirimiya Kinzo? Kinzo is the one who set up the device. It's the source of his mad magical power.
You get it now?
No, I have no idea.
The end, every game has been like, and none are left alive. Even if there's like no more like murders,
Yeah.
everyone's died. And there have been some like blue and red truth battles, which involved the whole concept of everyone dying in the end as well, and like the timing. So it's like,
Would these have been explosives left over from the war?
yeah, from the war.
Okay.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
In other words, Tat set up this bomb, and if he ever went broke, he was ready to wipe out everything, including himself, and die?
On this island, Ushirimiya Kinzo made a contract with the Golden Witch and obtained the gold. However, that was not all he gained. What are you talking about? Wait, don't tell me.
There is that rumor about the remains of an old Japanese military base existing on Rekenjima. Could it be?
Your guess is correct. Beneath this island sleep the remains of an underground Japanese military base from the time of the war, along with 900 tons of explosives.
900 tons? That's unbelievable. If that exploded, the result would be unimaginable. Forget just the mansion blowing up, it'd leave a massive crater.
And there's a whole thing about episode 4, when Anji came to the island. She didn't go and visit the mansion, right?
Yeah, she get to like a hill that overlooked where the mansion was or should have been?
It didn't really say. She just never went to the mansion. It was like, yeah, the reason was because the mansion just wasn't there anymore, right?
Well, they never talked about a giant hole in the ground, though.
Yeah, they just said it was a massive incident, basically. And they said that the crime scene was just so gruesome. So.
I believe an expert's estimate put it at a hole several dozen meters deep and a kilometer across.
There wouldn't be even a trace left.
Those explosives can be ignited by a special device. One connected to the activation switch I just flipped.
The witch toyed with the switch on the top part of the antique clock.
If 2400 hours arrives when the switch is in its position, the bombs will explode. It's almost midnight now! In other words, it won't explode X hours after you flip it. It's a time limit bomb that only explodes at midnight. Indeed. It is almost midnight now. If such an explosive is what you desire, you need only leave it like this. Who would want that? Turn it off!
By this time, Kinzo was probably the only one he knew. The secret base on Rekenjima had started out as a submarine base. However, when that plan reached a standstill, it was redefined as a top-secret base for Homeland Defense. A huge plan had been drawn up to have the Army and Navy perform a pincer attack on American forces if the latter decided to land on Kujikuri Beach and press towards Tokyo. As a trump card for this massive defensive maneuver, the Navy started stockpiling large quantities of explosives and fuel in absolute secrecy. And the Rikkenjima base was the location of that top secret stockpile. The buried explosives weighed 900 tons in total. Also, fearing that the Americans might find out the island's secrets and seize the explosives, they set up a system for the self-destruction of the entire island. Kinzo, who knew all of this, decided not to remove this device, but to tie it in with this strange clock that could trigger such an explosion at midnight. Any night at midnight.
Exactly why?
Because it's Kinzo. Kinzo is famous for building up his funds using a vast store of gold, then using those funds in several sink-or-swim gambles, one after another. Just what did his stockpile of gold and the 900 tons of sleeping explosives mean to him? At this point, we can only guess. Perhaps the true source of Kinzo's mad power wasn't the gold after all. If he lost a big gamble and all that he owned, he could erase the entire island from existence with this device. For the rest of his life, he must have put the gold and everything else he had on the line. Kinzo probably stared at this clock at times, sometimes flipping the activation switch and letting it tick down. Maybe whenever he came up against a troubling problem, he would hide in here and flip the switch, with the intention of blowing everything away if he didn't think of a brilliant plan before midnight came. He could gaze at this mountain of gold, listening to the clock tick towards his death as he searched for an idea. Perhaps Ushirimi Kinzo's real study wasn't the one in the mansion, but this place instead.
So Kinzo was doing the most ultimate night before assignment procrastination thing ever.
Yeah, I guess so.
Literally.
I got
took
this
it to,
maths assignment due tomorrow. Let me flip the switch.
Flip the switch! Get it done before I die!
It's like Katekyo Hitman Reborn stuff like that.
Oh.
That sort of switch sounds just like Dad. So maybe each time Dad worried about something, all of us kids were put on the line as well.
This is Father, so it wouldn't be unthinkable.
This device now belongs to all of you. If you desire a massive explosion, use it whenever you please.
Can you think of any hints towards this? The existence.
What do you mean, any hints towards its existence?
The existence of bombs, essentially.
No, because my brain is empty.
Are you crazy? Who'd want a big explosion?
These explosives are half a century old, right? Would they really go off? Yes, of course. The explosives and fuses are still working. Oh my goodness, the lag. I tested them myself. How does Beatrice know how to work explosives? You tested them?
You mean that?
I see. Now I finally understand.
Wait, what is that?
So that's why the shrine disappeared without a trace.
Oh!
That summer, the shrine had disappeared completely, along with the reef under it. Though people found it odd that the waves could have wiped it out so completely, no one paid it much mind. And now, this piece fits perfectly into the hole that caused that strange feeling.
Indeed. I used that shrine to test whether the explosives were still working after half a century. I believe you are all aware of the result. The little bit I used was enough to make the entire reef vanish. It's easy to see how 900 tons of that would cause an explosion large enough to rewrite the map.
If an explosion like that were to occur, it would certainly kill all of us.
Occur.
But what about you? I doubt you were planning to commit a group suicide with us.
This underground VIP room is connected by a subterranean passage to the remnants of the military base. If you go straight along that, you'll come out to the hidden mansion on the opposite side of the island, Kuwadorian. It's about 2 kilometers away. If you make it all the way there, you should be able to escape the blast. I see. So, you plan to escape to there just before the blast? I have only said that such a thing is possible. You may not believe this, but in the if the ninth twilight ended before any of you could solve the riddle, I plan to die along with everything else.
There's something seriously wrong with this girl.
She's insane! There's no point overthinking it. If we hadn't solved the epitaph, she would have used those guns. Or else that switch to massacre all of us, right? There's no doubting that now. You are correct. You have ended this game in the best possible way, without there being even a single victim. I wish to convey my respect and admiration. There may have been 7 of you, but you did solve that riddle, which took me so long to solve in a single night. That is worthy of praise.
And I admire you for your graciousness and honesty in defeat. We'll decide how to deal with you in the future, but I intend to do all I can to reach a gentlemanly agreement.
Pay me no mind any longer. I am already one of the dead, who was already prepared to kill everyone and die myself.
The Golden Witch Beatrice solved the epitaph, reached this room and revived. And now, new people had solved the riddle and reached this room, so her role was finished. When the epitaph's riddle was solved, Beatrice's illusion of the witch ended. Most likely, no one in this room was capable of understanding her grim determination. She herself was probably the only one who understood. As long as the many cells inside of her understood, that was enough.
I am one yet many. I abandoned myself to the magical roulette of endless possibilities. The result, the answer, is this. This is what the tarot cards known as the epitaph ceremony have shown me. Beatrice is already dead. They did not kill her. I killed myself in accordance with fate's command. They will never understand for all eternity.
The witch stared up at the ceiling without speaking for a while, then looked as though she'd suddenly remembered something. She grabbed at the sleeves of her dress and took out some kind of card.
Oh, yes, I forgot. I have no need for money after death. I will give this to all of you as well.
A cash card?
I have converted a portion of the gold to cash. This is for the account that the money is in.
I see. So this is the source of the Golden Witch's magical energy.
How much?
I've forgotten the details. However, that is more than 1 billion yen.
1 billion? Now that really would be magic.
True. There's nothing you couldn't do with that. Was there anything after that? It just skipped.
That much money.
Okay. There's nothing you couldn't do with that much money. Very true. The strongest magic to counter the human's anti-magic toxin is this magic of gold. It may be that this card holds greater power than the ingots.
Certainly. Cash would be much more agreeable than ingots.
Here you go. I have no need of this anymore.
The card she held out was not taken by any of them. Who would ever just hand over a card with 1 billion yen in it? The mountain of gold, the device for blowing up the island, the card with 1 billion yen, all of these surpassed their understanding. So, no one could bring themselves to take it.
I don't like it. What don't you like? Here you go, here's a mountain of gold. And I'll turn off the explosives and get you a card worth 1 billion yen while we're at it. It sounds far too good to be true. You're trying to trick us somehow, aren't you? I have no desire to trick you. But I won't try and force you to believe. I have offered you everything, revealed everything. What you believe and what you do is now for you, the new masters of the gold, to decide. You are even free to disbelieve all I say and leave this place.
Ava, I can't imagine that she's lying.
And how could you know that? I don't like how relaxed she's acting. It's as though she thinks she's already won. I just had an idea a second ago. What if she's lying about which is the offside of the switch?
What do you mean, Nessa?
Just a second ago, this woman flipped the switch to the side she said would turn off the bomb. But what if that actually armed the bomb? We solved the riddle, so you turned the bomb switch to on, trying to blow us and everything else up, right? If that is what you think, then feel free to flip the switch on this clock. It will be midnight in 1 minute. The clock will show you the truth. What did you say?
Hey, what are we supposed to do? Is the bomb sensor on now? Or off?
I can't imagine that she's lying. It's inactive now. We shouldn't flip it.
But I don't like it. Why is she so resigned to her fate? Why is she offering us things one after another? She's tricking us to buy time. She wants to buy time until midnight so she can go down in flames along with us.
What about the switch itself? Is there some way to tell if it's on or off?
On the upper part of the antique clock was a metal switch that could slide left or right. Right now it was set to the left. However, there were no marks in particular on either side to tell one which was off and which was on.
Hey, tell us the truth. Which way is off?
Left. It's off now. You idiot, you really expect an honest answer from her? It's the opposite. It has to be. The right side must be off.
We don't have any more time. Nasan!
Quit it, Ava. Don't touch the switch. It's set to off now.
Ava-san, take your hand off it! I agree. It's off now. If she wanted to kill us with a bomb, she wouldn't have told us about it. But Beatrice! Don't think you can trick me! 5, 4, 3...
The clock we've always seen.
Yeah. Adds a new element to all the previous games we've played.
The second hand of the clock ticked past midnight. October 4th ended, and the curtain rose on October 5th, 1986. The switch...
Wait, it was the 6th that everyone died, wasn't it?
It was like between the 4th and 6th.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like there were murders, and then like, yeah, the island would blow up on the last day, I guess.
Mm.
The switch was still pointing to the left. The witch's words had been proven correct.
Interesting. Have I gained your trust now? You witch!
With a hideous, sweat-covered expression, Ava snatched the cash card away from the witch's hand.
How about a bank book and seal? We can't withdraw anything with just a card. All you need is the PIN. It's 8 digits long. Wait a second. I'm writing it down.
Ava and Kirie both took out a pen and notepad and began writing the 8-digit number the witch had told them.
That is everything I have to tell you and to give you. Wait, didn't we see an 8-digit number in one of the previous games?
Yeah, that was the number.
When Angie was...
That was Battler's birthday and Yasu's birthday, I think. Or Beatrice's birthday, perhaps.
Yeah. And it was Angie who found it, wasn't it?
No. It was... Like, it was in the game, so Battler saw it and he, like, noticed that it had his birthday in it, and he was like, I wonder if it's my birthday and something else.
Yeah. That is everything I have to tell you and to give you. I will say nothing more. All of my tasks have been completed.
After saying this, the witch spun around and sat down on the bed. She wasn't even looking at the others anymore. She sat there like an empty husk which had, just as she had said, finished everything it existed to do. For a while, everyone watched the witch to see if she would remember something else and start talking. However, she said nothing else. The witch who had called herself one of the dead was now little more than a large French doll wearing a black dress.
Wait, it turned into a doll?
It's just saying she was like a doll. She didn't move anymore.